dark don't always mean black. This one is for the Hebrew Israelites. They are determined to convince the world that Jesus was a black man. They are determined to convince the world that Jesus was a black man. They go out there and tell every white person they see, they push that, they preach that religiously. Jesus was black. Jesus was black. And I have asked them over and over again, what is their definition of black? What do they mean when they mean by Jesus was black? Is it based on race or just his skin complexion? Is black a identity or just like we do it in America? What's on your driver's license? White or black or whatever, or I don't know. On my license, they used to say racial identity, black, white, such. What do they say now? I don't see. Wait a minute. I say eyes, brown. I guess they don't got. I guess they have gotten away from the black and white stuff, but they used to be on driver license and ID and stuff. But I guess it's long as your picture's on it. Yeah, I know they used to put them on the license, racial, black, white, such. I guess they got away from because I'm looking at an old driver license, and I can clearly remember. I know on your driver application you have to put used to black, white, whatever. Let's see, height 165, 6 mil feet, weight 165, height 5'6", restriction, endorsement, age, so. They used to have them on here if I'm not mistaken. But they still, the Hebrew Israelite, determined to make the world know and believe that Jesus was a black man. They'll use those scriptures in the Bible, Daniel, I think it's Isaiah and Revelation to say black. But they don't want to deal with the part that describes Jesus as having a white head and the hair white as wool, white as snow. They want to put that on something else. Well, he was old, so his hair turned white woolly. Jesus was only about 33 and a half years old, 33 and a half years old. So he wasn't an old man when he was crucified. All you got to do is look at life and look at racial makeup and stuff like that. You can see that. How many people, very few people, are dark skinned and have hair that is white as snow. They won't say woolly. See, woolly mean black, but we still got to deal with the white. Head white, hair is white. Now, some will say, well, When the Bible say head, that means the hair's on the head. But the Bible say his head and hair was white as snow. So they want to put the white hair part, on aging process. But Jesus was relatively young, unless he was born when he started. Unless he was like that, unless he turned that way at an early age. Some people start. I know I went to school with kids in junior high school and stuff that was naturally gray. Born, genetics. I remember I started graying at what? 30, 35, 36. It was gradually. My hair is not woolly. Wool is like roughly. But the Bible say white as snow. But they want to pass that off and just like ignore that. Well, he was black. But the Bible says skin tone was brownish, golden brown, like bronze, But dark don't necessarily mean black. But they goes out there and argue that like they know, like they was there back during them times. They act like they absolutely know. They have proof. Then when you look at them scriptures in the Bible, like I told them, a lot of people tell, that's in the supernatural. That's in heaven. Those scriptures are describing what he looked like in heaven via the Holy Ghost. You cannot take those scriptures and put them to his identity of what he looked like in the flesh. But they try to do that. That's what they do. Well, none of us back in them times, we don't have nothing concrete to show us what the people look like back in those times. We talking about thousands of years ago. Thousands of years ago. Yeah, you can trace his genealogy and paint a picture and lean to what he looked like. But we still don't have concrete proof of what those people looked like. Things changed over time. You watch Discovery Channel, all them type of channels, educate, you watch stuff, you see how even in history, well, a lot of people existed. They no longer existed. A lot of different type of cults of people existed at certain times. Then you really want to go back to Genesis. It's kind of strange the way the Bible is written concerning after the flood, when God replenished the earth with Noah and his sons, his 3 sons. They were married, right? But God yet replenished the earth with them 3 sons. They all got off the boat and went in different directions. But yet, they are responsible for replenishing the earth. I have questions surrounding it. I don't doubt the Bible. But a lot of people would say Genesis is kind of strange unless God just didn't want us to know exactly what went on as far as repopulating the earth. A lot of cultures, a lot of nations came out of just 3 sons. What we have now make you wonder. Because I asked my wife, I don't doubt the Bible, but everybody who read the Bible, you go to Genesis, them one of the strangest books. I even heard Bishop Wooden, Patrick Wooden said I heard other people say people existed before Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve wasn't the first. A lot of people say that. A lot of people, I've seen even stories on Discovery Channel and stuff that look at stories from the Bible and stuff. And they even say the story about God 2 by 2, the animals, they said it was more of a DNA thing. It wasn't actually 2 of these and 2 of these and 2 of them animals. But that's what the Bible say. You know. But they are determined to push that. Jesus was a black man. Just because he's dark, or we think that he was dark, and that's still a debate amongst a lot of people. You go to Google, you go to search, you search all stuff. You only got access to so much information. It's all speculatory. We looking at the people for what they look like now, even going back to a recent 1,000 years. But do we have anything that would show us back in any of them people back during them time when Jesus walked the earth? Jesus had to come down through 42 generations. Y'all know how long that was? Do you know how much things could have changed? You know how much things did change? When you look at people nowadays, genetics, generational gaps and stuff like that. It's coming in all races, all people, black people, interracial mingling and stuff now, or even going back 2 or 3 generations. Maybe your mom, maybe your great grandma was mixed with some, and your great granddad was mixed with some. But they dominance showed up in their children, right? Whatever was dominant, although they might have been mixed, but whatever was dominant in their bloodline showed up in their children, right? And it wasn't hard to see. Because let's jump 2 generations. And then we see that mixture shows back up in their great-great-grandchildren. See what I'm saying? Then people have to get to doing tracing DNA and then where this is showing what your grandma, what your great-great-grandma was mixed with, other than black or whatever. It's showing up clearly in her great-great-grandchildren. See what I'm saying? With the father's great-great-granddad. See how stuff is subject to jump, it'll disappear for a couple of generations, then it'll show back up. Eyes or skin tone and stuff like that. I'm not saying Jesus wasn't a black man. You know, I just want to get a clear definition what you mean by black. I put that in one of my videos. I said, like, are we saying black as the United States? As we come to call people black? The standard? Just because people are dark or light skinned, that don't mean they're white or black. But it's okay to have strong opinions about things. But when you don't have direct, concrete evidence, proof of what you're talking about, then my question is it wise to push that as if it's factual? No, it's not. That's what they don't want to accept. All they think about, well, they depicted Jesus being white in the Bible. Okay, they did. But we all know that's not true. So trying to persuade people that Jesus is black because the people put Jesus is white, are you in any better position? Any better than what they did? We don't know. They didn't know. You search Google, everybody had their idea of what Jesus looked like. We don't know. Our racial, our makeup before the nations were formed, we got our identity from the three sons of Noah in their family. When you look at geography and climates and stuff like that, you have to look at all this geographical locations. Southern people tend to be darker. Lighter skinned people tend, northern people who are not really exposed to the sun for generations tend to be lighter. So it's very easy for light skinned people, pale skinned people to go south and turn dark through the generations. It's gradually turned dark and dark and dark, 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 dark. But that don't necessarily mean that just because they're dark and have turned dark, that they are black. Some people, even my daughter, she was very light skinned when she was born. She was light like a mama. Let me show it right quick. My wife probably ain't gonna like this. Well. Anyway, my wife is much lighter than me. Much. And my daughter was light as her. Real light. My youngest daughter is about my skin complexion, a little bit dark. But my oldest daughter was very light when she was young. So when she got in high school, junior high, she started participating in band and stuff like that. She was exposed to the sun. I think she was a cheerleader for a while. She gradually started getting dark. She would light up a little bit during this break time. Then she was in band and stuff all through high school. So every time she was band school would start and stuff like that, she'd be out in the sun, she would get dark. Now she just a mixture of dark and light. I asked my wife the other day, what is her skin complexion now? And she was like, she just like a mixture. So skin tone have always been subject to change. Languages, tones have always been subject to change depending on your location. We see this stuff. It's evident. I was in Georgia about 2 weeks ago now, outside of Atlanta. A guy came in. At first glance, I thought he was black. What we call black American, black standing black. He talked and walked like a black man. Came in, started talking like black men started to do. They just come in, ask him questions, and he had some glasses on and a cap. I didn't really pay him no attention at first, but then when I looked at him, I was like, this man ain't black. He was another race. What he was, I couldn't tell you. All I know, he wasn't what we call black. There's a lot of dark-skinned people running around in America that's not black, according to American standards. Now, you ask me, what would I guess, you want to go by tribe? I don't know. Judah or whatever, I don't know. I don't know, but I don't study that stuff. It don't matter. But they want the world, they want to compel the world to believe that Jesus was a black man when they don't have no solid proof. Just take our word for it. But yet they want to use the scriptures in the Bible to try to describe when those scriptures, when you can clearly see that those scriptures are speaking in a supernatural vision. Come on, y'all. Come on. But them saying, a lot of them Hebrew Israelites, they just don't stand on nothing. They be bounced back. Then a lot of them agree with, yeah, you right. You right. Then on the other hand, yeah, you wrong. You wrong. You right. You right. You wrong. You wrong. They don't know. But they want to convince the world that Jesus was black. A lot of people that disagree try to tell them, look, he was lighter skinned. You know, I'm not on really nobody's side on what he looked like. I'm compelled to believe that he was kind of dark skinned. But does that mean that he is black? And after you believe in Jesus is black, how does that play into your salvation? Do the scriptures tell us to preach on skin tone, skin color? I know in the Old Testament, it was for the Hebrew Israelites to mingle. It was against the law to mingle and interracial marriage and stuff like that to have in outside blood. That's what they try to push too. A lot of them still believe in that stuff. Jesus was already foreordained to come and atone for the sins of the world long before the nations was formed. That's what they failed to realize. He was already foreordained long before the nations came. Before that promise was made in Noah to Noah long before the nations was formed. They don't want to go back to the root. They want to go. They want to bounce. You know, they don't want to go to the root of why Jesus came. They want to skip. They want to skip the stuff that's in the Bible that's evident and push stuff that they can't see or don't know. That's why I tell them, ain't it possible that Jesus could have been an Alabama? An Alabama person would throw you for a loop. You don't know what they are unless they tell you. We live in a society that people look like what they might you think, but they'll be totally different. I see it. Unless you done did some traveling and look at other stuff and look at life, then I guess you wouldn't know this. People are not always what they seem. You might think a person in one race, but be totally different. It's common. It's common. I had a teacher when I was in junior high school, a lady by the name of Miss Seymour. I'm sure she probably dead and gone now. She said, back during Jim Crow law in the South, she said she always could pass for white. My wife got stories like that too. People in her family always could pass for white. She was the only person that could go into a white establishment and get food and stuff and be viewed as a white person. So she wasn't white though. You see how you can get thrown off just by skin complaint? She wasn't white. She was black. But she was just in her younger age, especially, you know, she was real light skinned. They didn't know. I see people all the time. Them Mexicans, the white people, Native Americans, you see them, you think they want, you know, you can't hardly tell. Even black people, you have to look at some people very, very close. Just cause they a dog or whatever, it don't necessarily mean you trying to identify them to a race. You could be mistaken. You could be mistaken. You could very well be mistaken. And then you go back to them generals that long ago in the Bible. You don't know. We don't know who mingled with folks. They did break the laws, right? We don't know who slept with who. Because it was outlawed, that don't mean they didn't do it. There was a lot of stuff they weren't supposed to do. They did it. Sin. Sin was already here. Sin was already in the earth before the nations was formed. Go back in Genesis and read the conversation that when God wanted to destroy, had decided to destroy the world for a second time. You got to go back. You got to go to the foundation and start from there. The Hebrew Israelites don't want to do that. Just because you are chosen, the Bible says you are chosen people. That don't mean you gotta that heaven belongs to only you. The Bible says you got to be born again. So heaven is not based on who you are. Child with you, I'm a Hebrew Israelite, 12 tribes of Israel. It's not about that now. It's not about that. It was never really meant to be about that from the get-go. It's just who God decided to bring his son through. So they go out there around the country, push their stuff, when they don't have any, not a shred of evidence. It's all opinionated. We had a Bible, we have history, but unless you was back there during them times, even what you looking at on paper in history is still subject to speculation. It's still a 50-50 thing. I done looked at a lot of research, a lot of scholars and all that back there. All that is speculatory. Nobody can guarantee anything. We don't actually see any of them people. We never seen any of them people back during them time. We don't know. That's why I throw the question out there. It's possible Jesus could have been an outbound, or he could have looked like an agent. He could have looked like anything. All we know is his genealogy, where he came to his name. We try to build his profile and his identity on that. And all I'm saying is, it's not concrete. It's not concrete. Nothing is concrete. 3 sons. The world will replenish with what we have now. All these nations, all these tongues, everybody came from the 3 sons. How did it happen? I asked my wife all this. How did it be? I brought it up a long time ago in church. Insects. And somebody said, yeah, you're right. But the blood was constantly pure, stuff like that. So I'm on the opinion that the world will repopulate through blood relatives. You still had to do a lot out of 3 sons. And they had wives. I'm not sure if the third son had, but we know from them 3, they went in different directions. And from the result of them, if I understand it right, we have what we have now in the world. All these different nations, all these different tongues, such. I'm open to correction if I'm wrong. I'm open to discussion. Hit me up. Let me know.